So we watched Mare of Easttown episode 6 last night, the two of us, or you might have watched it another day than I did. So
I watched it Sunday night at 10.
yeah, no, it's so we where we left off was Mare had kind of located sort of the kidnapper who had taken two of these three girls that she's investigating right now, and it left off with her partner being shot, Mare killing this suspect, and it sort of ended there with the police arriving. So this picks up where we see Mare at the hospital coming to out of a fog of
Lori, Jane Smart, I mean.
yeah. So what I didn't understand, well, it wakes up and it's kind of cute where, of course, when, the little boy's there, the grandson, and, you start to tear up because of the trauma of the little boy. But I thought she just got shot in the arm. Like I didn't understand. I'm not saying she didn't deserve to be in the hospital, but why was
I think it was trauma. I think it was trauma induced. Like, I think she was probably had to be
okay?
sedated.
That makes more sense to me because really it essentially looks that she she's in a cast. So I don't know if the gunshot, broke her bone or something, or she's got a broken arm, but she's in a cast. So thank you. Because she refers to panics creeping back into her life later in the episode. So that actually makes sense that she was in some state of shock.
She started hearing the sun, that beach day with the sun, and just was like, I mean, she couldn't breathe. She was having like the panicky attack breathing.
Get it? Yeah, now I
Mhm.
get it because sometimes I don't know. So much Fast and Furiously is flying that like I feel like I'm not oftentimes keeping up. So we know that she's on the mend in the hospital, and
Mhm.
then it jumps back into the deacon. And I don't think we talked about this in our last episode. Did we talk about the deacon confessing to the head priest that he had the bike and everything?
Yeah, we did not talk about that. That's the thing that we forgot to talk about. And it seemed like they had some kind of relationship. It didn't really say it out loud, but it felt that way.
So obviously the priest that he confided in, or either himself, somebody brought this to the attention to the police. So the deacon is, arrested for, tampering with, I don't know, with, hiding
Evidence,
evidence,
yeah.
but not anything further than that. And uh, I don't know why, because in that last episode as well, the deacon was bullied by a bunch of kids in town and obviously roughed up, and that's sort of when he broke down. Why doesn't he want to say what happened to him? I thought that
I
was
don't know because like he said he fell down like twice to the priest and then to the cops. I don't understand like
yeah. I
uh
don't know. I thought that
yeah,
was,
that was weird.
and we realized because we weren't really sure with Lori, Nair's friend's husband, who got kicked out of the house, they didn't address a gender necessarily. So obviously it was, him getting kicked out for having an affair with a woman. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
makes any difference, but we did find out that it was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that was another one of those really great scenes with Mare and her friend Lori on the couch. Like I like that how they
Mm-hmm.
are there for each other for sure.
You're not gonna like something I'm gonna say in a little while.
Oh, okay. Um, and I guess I was trying to put it all together, but she kicks him out, and her husband goes to stay with his father, who's this grumpy old man who one son living in the has one son living in the basement, and the second son coming back home because his wife had kicked him out. But they
Now is the third son Frank? Is he a son or is that a cousin? Because I know they're related somehow.
so Kelly, who's Aaron's father, right? They call him. I'm pretty sure it was Kelly that they call him. The
Oh
one
yeah,
who
that's
did
right.
is
That's right. That's
a
the other.
cousin. And I think that confused me a little bit because I thought the three of them were brothers after Aaron was dead and they go over to console him. I think
But
in
it
my
was their
mind
cousin.
it's
Okay,
their cousin.
okay. So Frank
Um,
had nothing to do. Not yet. I got it completely confused. That's good. Good to know. Okay.
and yeah, so we know it's with the father. Suddenly the brother in the basement is drinking a lot, and I still go back to that episode where they were eating pizza and he suddenly had to leave. I was like, is this any more ridiculous the way they're painting this? Oh, suddenly he's drinking a lot.
There were a couple moments like that even here. Like he's like, after he was like talking to him and he's like, I don't know. And after he kind of was giving him a hard time himself, the father was giving the guy a hard time for like having an affair and like, what are you doing? The brother came in and said, like, you can't keep it in your pants. And they were like, how dare he say that? Like, I don't know what's happening with him, but it was very appropriate for him to be mad. I mean, the father was mad at him. He did the same thing, and then they were like, "I'll talk to him later." That was really strange,
It
I
was a
thought.
very oddly, and uh, I feel like Billy has been such a weird character. Back to my point about him saying, "Oh, Aaron only stayed with me for a few days. Oh, it was 3 months. Oh, I don't remember." And then suddenly he had to
But I'm
leave.
not going to eat this pizza, glorious pizza and beer. Bye.
Yeah, no. So I thought that was awkward at best. That whole scene with him, excuse me, coming in. But I guess it's you know this next the next thing that I think is another example of how Mare doesn't think before she acts. She decides that she's going to visit her detective partner who just died, and even the mother had told him that she was only interested in him to stay on the case. And then suddenly he's dead. Why would Mare go to this woman's house?
Out of like, I got it. Like, she was his partner. She kind of had to pay her respects, but I mean, I knew the wall up was coming. I knew it was coming for sure. But then she didn't go without telling anybody, because when she got back from the wallop, Jean Smart was like, how did it go? She was
Yeah.
waiting like to find out what happened. So she didn't just go off and be like, wild hair
But
up
it
her
just,
ass.
I think if these police officers go through psychological training and they know people and how people react, this mother is going to lash out. And I understand that you have to think of a way to pay your respects, but I think anybody would have known you're going to get your face slapped or you're going to get spit on or something.
At
What
least don't
reaction would
act
you?
surprised. She acts shocked. And
Yeah.
she walloped her a couple of times, which I kind of love, because I would be, well, if that was my son, I'd be freaking beating the shit out of her
Right.
too.
It did lead to a really nice scene with Jean Smart and
Oh yeah, that was
where she
beautiful.
kind of lets her emotions out with her mother, and it was a really nice.
Finally,
Yeah,
like
you're
finally.
noticing that something's chipping away, or good, bad, or indifferent. Her emotions are kind of coming to.
Therapy helps.
Yeah. Well, it's putting all of this stuff top of mind, for her. And, she also is haunted by a son that is dead. So I'm sure that played a part in her needing to go see this mother. I think, but I still think
Yeah.
you kind of could have, I don't know what more that you would have expected from this mother.
No, you were definitely going to get that from her. I was kind of tensed up waiting like it was going to be
I
happening
just
to
didn't know
me.
what it was going to be. I just didn't know what it's going to be. And at that point, you still don't know that Mare is kind of coming, you don't know what her fate with the police station was. And it's another one of those moments where I had a pit in my stomach with, should you be going to this person's house if you're on administrative leave? It was like everything about it just seemed like bad timing.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but it was good for the scene. I
It
mean,
was good for the scene. And some of those I think are just exactly that. I think it's for the dramatics of the Jean Smart scene that she has when she comes home to her mother.
right.
But you picked up on it. I didn't. And I know you explained it the last time we talked, but we did see Richard come back, which is very sweet. Richard, the professor, he comes to see Mare with a gift basket. Um, you had put it together. She had the multiple dates, which I guess I didn't pick up on, and she had chosen her partner to go on that date with, obviously, because she wanted to talk about the case. But she did. Where did I miss this birthday of his that she decided not to go to?
It was the same night, same time. So when she went in to see Jean Smart, and she's like, "Oh, you look nice," or what's going on? She goes, "I have a date," and she goes, "Who with?" And she goes, "I don't know yet," or something. She hadn't
But I
quite
don't
made up
think
her.
I picked up on it being his birthday. I mean, I did.
He
She,
said he had told her
oh,
that
maybe.
like trying to get her to go out with him again. He goes, "I know, but it's my birthday, so I was
Okay.
wondering if I could take you out to dinner."
Um, but it was very nice, and she kind of has like, I love the scene where she kind of says she just needs to work on herself. I like the way she said that, and I like the
Mhm.
way he answered it, which I think is funny in a small town. That his odds were that he wasn't going to have hundreds of people beating down his door. So
Yeah,
that
she's like, "How do you know you won't be spoken for?" Which was kind of an old-fashioned way of saying it for Mare's character, I thought.
no,
I
I
don't know.
agree. I agree. I'm trying not to cough. I sneezed the last time, and I'm trying not to cough this time. What was it? Where I am refresh my memory. There's this reference to somewhere along the line. I don't know at which point that Mare is brought back into the fold of the getting her job back.
Well, I think being the hero,
What's that?
first of all, going in and rescuing these girls, there was going to be some expectation of her working again. Then the she knows the case. The other guy has no clue that they put on the case, and the other guy's dead. So who else are they gonna?
Yeah, no, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how that was going to play out because she really shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been with him at that scene when
Ah,
it all
that's
went
true.
down.
I mean,
So
that's
I
true
thought she was
too.
gonna, I worried that she was going to be in trouble all over again. Like she just cemented that
Probably
they,
in real life she would have been, but in Hollywood, or as my mother would say, in Hollywood, anything can happen.
well, I'm
Um,
sure the public perception, in a small town like that, people would have rallied around her. So it was probably politics, but they
mm,
make a reference when she's back in the office, fully immersed, like nothing happened. They talk about the gun that was used with Aaron and the fact that it's this old police gun, typically.
right, right. So that is another thing that
Another thing that is thrown our way, and it's probably a gun that her father had. I was just like, again,
I
now
know. Because
suddenly
her thought, yeah,
it
exactly.
was another thing I didn't necessarily need is the reference to, I'm sure your father had one of these, Mayor. It's just
But
so
who else? Who else had cops? Who else? We don't know. Like, I mean, it's like small town. Somebody else was probably a child of a cop there too, I would think.
yeah, I'm sure it's pretty, yeah, and I'm sure I just didn't, again, we're gonna know why and how any of this all ties together next week when it concludes, but
Usually we meet on Sundays, and I wish it was on tonight. Like, I totally
oh,
needed
I
this to
know.
happen.
And so the crazy girl, Dylan's girlfriend, rats him out, and
Right.
she kind of goes to confess that he wasn't around, and all of that commotion with that happens.
And before that, they like kind of scare the Aaron's friend, and they say we're together. We're like something did. Personally, I think they witnessed it, and but then I
Well,
guess
because it followed that, because I think it was her when Mayor questions him about where he was, she also accuses him of taking the journals. So she obviously, and then that's what made him go harass that
Right. That's true.
girl. But I thought that was kind of interesting that she knew that the journals were gone because she obviously didn't find them. She found that locket instead. But that scene where Dylan is and his friend are trying to harass that girl or scare the crap out of her, we also go to Mare's grandson's mother, who's working 100 jobs and very tired, giving the boy a bath.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
Well, it was effective in the fact that you didn't know. So you have the girl that's being chased down by the thugs, and you have this boy in the bathtub, and a mother that's getting ready to drift off. You didn't know what was coming. So is the girl going to get murdered that's being chased by the thugs, or is the boy going to drown in the pool? I felt like one of those two things was ready.
And then nothing happened. I was like,
and
why?
I did not need the mother dozing off and the boy. Like, I didn't need that at all. I think we know that she's working a ton of jobs because we saw that in the laundromat. I didn't need my heart racing with a boy possibly drowning in a pool. Drowning in the tub. I hated that scene. I didn't think it necessary.
I knew he wasn't going to. I hated it because it was disgusting to me, like pit of my stomach disgusting. But then I also knew, like, if he died, that Mare would be no good, period. And nothing would ever get solved. Well, so I knew he wasn't going to die.
Through that as well, because I thought that's just overkill if she now loses her grandson. So I was pretty sure that wasn't going to happen, but I didn't need that at all.
Yeah, they're really trying to like pull out the drama here, and it's a little bit much.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's getting a feel for the town and the relationships, and I get some of that stuff, but I didn't think I needed that. Then tying up the drug-addled brother of her basketball friend calls her because she hasn't heard from her brother. So he's dead because he's overdosed or whatever. And what I was lost about is, and maybe you can talk me through it, Mare finding that bag of clothes. I mean, we understand eventually how you get there, but
right. Well, that was the catalyst of why she found it. Like how else was she going to like come across the t-shirts, the t-shirt with
the first one she pulls out I didn't understand the first shirt she pulled out.
She only noticed it because it was the high school.
Okay.
There was the high school, and she's like, why would he have that? And it was Aaron's, it was McMiniman. So it was that, and then another one. And so it was two of Aaron's shirts. I mean, I think the only reason it caught her eye was because it had that high school.
I get it. I guess I wasn't understanding the name. I think because it was her friend from high school's brother and they played on the same basketball team. I think I was thinking it was maybe her friend's jersey. And then I didn't. So one of the things that she finds is this family reunion T-shirt that has the same date as the locket that she found in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I guess we later find out, is because Aaron's father let Freddie, who's OD'd, go over and grab some clothes that he could give as a gift somewhere. So you sort of understand. I thought if you were taking clothes because you wanted to gift them, I don't know that I would have picked up that family reunion T-shirt, but
it was really weird because why was Freddie being visited by that guy too, that they never showed any connection in the past either. So there's so many grabbing at straws stuff in this. I mean, the fact that there's good acting in small scenes and that there is a mystery that you want to know what happened keeps you going, and it's great. I mean, I'm not saying, but there is something like, why are you doing this? I continuously say, why?
Well, it's that, and then you had like sort of a nice scene at the friends, that at the repast of the brother, and that was kind of a nice scene because
Mhm.
Katie's mother, who's with cancer, who's been so angry with Mare, really,
Mhm.
gives her thanks and apologies for everything, which I thought was like a really nice scene, and
That was
that
a
was
nice
really,
scene.
really, really realistically done. But Mare also is sniffing around with Lori about this family reunion T-shirt at the same time.
Yeah, it got interrupted, and Lori seemed a little bit weirded out by it, I thought.
And we wouldn't have an episode of Mare without the ridiculous Siobhan stuff.
That was ridiculous. That was another ridiculous thing that she just sits and gets drunk. And actually, I was like, oh my God, it totally reminded me of like calling this guy over and over one time and being like out of control, like call me, call me, call me. So it kind of gave me post-traumatic stress. And why? Why did we need
So
that?
yeah, the whole bit with the new girlfriend, the DJ that recommends you go to speak to the Berkeley person, and
Mhm.
her saying maybe she doesn't want to leave because she's got the new girlfriend, and then suddenly she's in her room and hasn't heard from the girlfriend and leaves her a voicemail message. Takes an edible, I guess it was an edible that she ate, and suddenly becomes obsessed in texting and all this ridiculousness, eventually comes home drunk because she somehow went out with friends, and
And Mary yells at the two guys that actually deliver her home safely. Get out of here. I was like, they
she
brought you
was
to
a
their
little
home.
barky with them, I thought, because they did bring your mess of a daughter home. Maybe she didn't know how the daughter became a mess. I guess you had two people drop somebody off like that. How much
She
would
didn't
you
have to
take?
give him cookies, but she could have said thanks for bringing her home. I don't
And
know.
so then there's that moment where, she cries and, hates that, Mare isn't talking about her brother that's dead and all that stuff. And
But couldn't that have been easier come up without so much of the drama of her, like all the blurry drinking and sitting in the room and pacing around and all the phone calls? We didn't need that. That was
and
like
I
the
was just
bathroom
like,
scene.
I didn't realize an edible would have you that laser focused in that way. I would think you'd be chilled and kind of like whatever, but maybe it was the paranoia of an edible
I
that
mean,
was
there's
good.
so many different kinds, I
Yeah,
think
I
that,
think now that they probably are, but if it was the last one in her jar,
oh,
I
true,
have to
true.
imagine that she knew if it did that to you, you probably would. You're
But
taking
mixed with whiskey or whatever she was drinking out of the
it was so
bottle.
off the rails. I don't know why. I mean, but Mare is starting to deal with the grief, and she's seen her therapist, and she's recapped that day where she found her son, and that was really well done.
Uh-huh.
I like that she's open to the therapy in shorter time than a character like that typically would be. I was like, I don't have anything to do with this shrink if it's going to take 5 visits of you being shut off and not sharing. So I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
think,
that would have been pretty like typical, like trying to make that character so tough that she was.
but I would have taken more scenes of that than Siobhan and this stupidness.
The Siobhan scene and the bathroom scene had to go. I mean, that they should have been on the cutting room floor for sure.
One thing I didn't mention, I thought, when Richard comes with the gift basket and Jane Smart comes up the stairs and says, Richard's here. It was like she stopped being Helen and she suddenly was Charlene from Designing Women. It felt like she left that character, channeled Charlene, and then went back to
Arlene
Helen.
has to be in there at the surface at all times. I mean, she
But the way
really
she
does.
said it in that little shake, Richard's here, like I felt like I saw that same shimmy when she was Charlene of Designing Women.
Did she do the Eileen Warwick movie before
Before,
designing?
years ago, with Park Overstreet from Empty Nest, who played the Christina Ricci character.
Okay, but did she do it before she was on Designing Women or after?
No, it was during. I think it
So
was.
that Charlene didn't come out in that movie.
No, but I felt like she's being cutesy, and now she's pulling on her. Charlene is with us right now. But what I like about it, about Jean Smart, is you do forget her age because I don't think that she's as bad, but that manner in which she holds on to the stairwell when she
And
walks
kind
down
of,
it,
she's limping a little because she has that leg thing.
that is such a thing that people do in houses like that as they get older, start pulling themselves up those stairwells.
Especially with her restless leg syndrome. That's what I'm diagnosing her with, the way she described it.
So things start to like kind of pick up. It is episode 6, and now Lori's husband, he's gone home to see the dad. What did you he comes home?
That was out of nowhere. Why does he do it now? Why did he do it when he first came over and he was talking about him having an affair? Why wasn't he upset that day? I mean, all of a sudden he comes home again and then he's like, what's wrong? And he's like he had just seen it. That was really weird. That was almost like a delayed reaction. That I didn't think that was realistic, or that would have
the acting in that scene was horrible, but the
Mhm.
father confesses to Lori's husband that Billy came home the night of Aaron's death covered in blood. But I, like you, why is the father showing the signs of having a stroke at the table right now? And why? Because if you've ever gone home, so what typically would have been the case in my mind, as soon as Billy came in that first night, went downstairs with his 12-pack of Yingling, that older person would have been pulling you aside to tell you this. That's just typically how it would have happened.
Because he goes, at that point, he said, I don't know what's going on with him lately.
Right.
That's the time to divulge what just happened.
Yeah, so that kind of lays itself out in a very, very strange kind of way, but it puts it on his radar. And I guess, suddenly we have, Billy admitting to killing Aaron out of nowhere, like no poker face, not even for a second. He didn't run off like he did at Mira's pizza party. He just completely breaks down and confesses. But audioly, I had a really hard time hearing the two of their dialogue. So did he nod his head that he did it, and then the floodgates opened? That was
yeah, he nodded at first because he said it was almost like he was like baiting him, like, I just have a whole theory about something, and I just as it was happening.
I keep calling him Lori's husband. What is his name? I can't remember at this point.
So, no, I can't either.
But he convinces his brother to not confess because the brother's ready to confess, and instead, let's go on a fishing trip to
one last time.
And he does also, before this fishing trip, he tells Lori, right? He tells Lori that.
Well, yeah, he tells her and he says, we have to keep this from Mare. We can't tell Mare. And she's like, all right.
Yeah, that was a little strange to me, the way that laid out. And then on this, I guess, as tell me if I'm missing anything, they start packing for this bizarre fishing trip.
He goes to put something in Billy goes to put something in his brother's tackle box, and there's the gun, an old gun.
Okay, I was going to ask you if it's the old gun.
I think so.
But it's not Billy's gun, it's the brother's gun. It's
in the brother's tackle box.
So that's and so they suddenly go whisking off. The brother sees that there's a gun in the tackle box, so he's starting to wonder what this trip is going to be about. Like
Billy the brother, right? Billy notices, and he grabs the tackle box, and it's sitting there with him when they're fishing. And Mare is on her way because. Who looked at the pit? No, Mare's on her way. And then the picture that the friend had looked at and put in her pocket, Aaron's friend had looked at, she is now with the chief of police or whatever. hands it to him, and he's like, call Mare now.
Well, because, Mare knows that the locket was bought by Ross, which is the last name of the two brothers and the father. So Ross is on this slip. Plus, with
Right.
the picture, she goes racing off ferociously to this after Lori tells her. Lori does tell her.
Yeah, like without any coaxing.
And goes whisking off. It almost reminded me of the Demi Moore movie where what is it, The Witness, the one where she's Alec Baldwin is trying to,
The jurors.
and
Yeah.
she's in a pickup truck whisking away. The scenery made me think of that, but she goes whisking off, but because the picture that they bring into the office, Mare's already on her way to the fishing place, and Mare's lieutenant, who I think is right out of stock acting. His acting is very ridiculous to me. He sees something in the picture and now is racing for somebody to get Mare on the phone. And Mare ends the episode kind of finding where the brothers are. So that had me a little anxious because I didn't know what she was going to get there. And I'm so afraid that I know you're already leaning towards who you probably think did it, or you have a theory. So what do you think it is?
Okay, it's a little like it's probably, I mean, I feel like it's obvious. All right, so the two brothers are there. I think that Billy's brother does think that Billy did it. But I think Billy's, always drunk and everything like that. I actually think it's Lori.
Okay.
I think it's Lori, and I think because she was like, he's been having this affair. It's Lori, right? Her friend?
Yes.
He's been having this affair, like these affairs and everything. They were at that reunion together. She knew about it at the reunion. She knows that the baby is whatever her husband's name is now. I just think he's too stupid to be the killer for some reason.
So,
And I think Billy's too obvious. I don't think Billy ever did anything. I think Billy may have thought he killed her. I think maybe like he was there covered with blood. Like I think he saw Aaron. I think maybe thinks he killed her. But I think Lori did it and is framing either Billy or her husband by putting that gun in the tackle box. I don't think that the brother even knows that gun is in the tackle box.
Okay. And why would Billy confess? Was he so drunk one night that he didn't, that he tried to shoot her and just.
I don't think so. I think he really cared about her. I think he cared about her. And when he came in and said, you can't keep your thing in your pants. I think he was talking to the brother, like not just about this girl, this woman he's having an affair with, but about Aaron.
Why would he confess though? Was he just so drunk one night that he didn't remember where he was?
Yeah, I think he woke up covered with blood and saw Aaron in the park there. And maybe he hit her. Maybe he is the one that brought her body there. Maybe he did the moving around or something like that. And that's why he was covered with blood. Or he thought the brother killed him and he tried, no, because he confessed to him. I think he thinks he did. I really think he thinks he did. And that's why he's drinking and he's so upset and everything. I think he thinks he did in a drunken stupor. I think the brother is just a dumb, like, whatever. And I think that Lori is the one that killed her and then framed and put the thing back. I mean, I think it's probably I think it's his gun. I think it's her husband's gun. Maybe his father.
I just don't understand what's in this picture that would have the officer so wanting to stop Mare before she gets there. To me, they're leading you to believe she's got the wrong person.
Well, I think Lori's right behind them. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know that, it'd be funny that it's, like, I just don't know what could have been in a picture that would have said, get Mare on the phone. They're trying to stop her, in my mind, from being on the wrong trail. And it seems pretty obvious, but if I had to say that maybe it is the brother that can't keep his, thing in his pants, and that he's the father, and that's why, she's going up there thinking it's Billy, but something in this picture, maybe it's a salacious photo of some sort, but I don't know what in a picture at a reunion or whatever, what in that picture would have you think have them all right, I don't know, but
I think the guy is the father. I think her husband is the father, and that's why she killed Aaron.
okay. I'm still not figuring out what's in this picture.
Yeah, the picture, I don't know. I mean, unless she's in the picture.
But yeah, it's a lot of things lined up. It's obviously not going to be what it seems. It's interesting. I like how it's coming together at the end. There's a lot of this filler stuff that I have no desire,
because what's going on with Dylan and all that too, like why were the journals being hid, what was in there, we got to find that out. It's probably going to be something stupid that we didn't need to know. Why.
And I don't know, again, I mean, maybe it is a picture of a sonogram that she wrote the father's name on or something, and but
oh, maybe that's a good guess.
It was just too strange to me, and there's just so many red herrings that it's just going to be, it's very, very well acted, and you forgive it all of the weird stuff. I can't forgive it. I forgive it despite Siobhan. That whole storyline has made me insane, and the cadence of the Siobhan storyline does not meet. Like, she's this contemporary hip happening girl with this DJ girlfriend. Like, their scenes don't even feel like they belong to me.
You know what? You're right. And even
I feel like I'm watching Gossip Girl. Like, it feels like a segment out of Gossip Girl to me.
Even the grandson and the mother trying to get him back, did that even necessarily, couldn't they just have the grandson?
Yeah, I know. So I'll be excited for our next. We went really super long and probably bored the hell out of everybody with our
yeah, but we were interested.
It was a really, again, it's all coming together, and I think I'm examining it a little deeper because I'm trying to piece things together, and we'll be, I'm not leaning Lori. I'm not. I don't know why.
It might be just my spurned wife kind of thing, like maybe that's why I'm going there. What was the title again?
The title was "Sore Must Be the Storm," which
was an Emily Dickinson poem, and really means the worst of circumstances, which this obviously is. And I think the worst of circumstances, what it means to me is that it would be her best friend and the ultimate betrayal.
Okay. And it's not the husband, and it's not whatever. So yeah, I hope it's, maybe it's Siobhan.
I'd rather have it be Siobhan than Lori. I don't want it to be Lori. I just have that sick feeling that it's the worst of the worst.
Okay, well, we'll find out, and be sure to recap. See you later.
See you later.